Ladies and gentlemen, if Kenya Kwanza cannot start by arresting and prosecuting Uhuru Kenyatta, they can say that the whole Matiang'i issue remains hogwash. I was just following what has happened. Immediately, Raila arrived at the DCI HQ. Of course, he was barred from accessing the compound. And after that, we understand that Matiang'i was released. So, of course, there was a bit of that commotion because the security officers there were ordering the youths who are piling around that place to leave. But Matiang'i was released. And he was released after the lawyers, according to Danstan Umari, was saying that they confronted the investigators to give them the way forward in terms of whether the Waziri was under arrest or he was going to be charged in court. And he said that he's going to be charged with some felony and accusation of publishing some false information about the purported raid. They were a bit stranded because Matiang'i did not give any statement. And what you're seeing in your screen is the statement that Matiang'i gave. So you really need a very serious microscope. You really need to be very keen to see what Matiang'i wrote there. So he did not give anything. He remained silent. I am very sure that even those who are probing Matiang'i, the end goal was not to charge him with that felony and that false publication. I don't think that was the end game. It was maybe something bigger than that. But because of following the law, seems they have been pushed to the corner. There have been outcry that Matiang'i executed orders and roles that he played were those he was given by former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And so if it is a personal vendetta, then it should start from the son of Jomo. Now, I'm looking at what happened today. Of course, when you're asking where is Uhuru Kenyatta, if there is a reaction that Uhuru Kenyatta has perfected is keeping off, remaining quiet. I know for those who have always said, don't you think yes, people can talk about it? Uhuru Kenyatta has a social media page, a Twitter page you can check. He has a Twitter page. And there are also other leaders that still coalesce around him. And by then, nothing stops him even from calling a press briefing and talking about it. And his reaction has been very key. Just keeping the silence so that it does not draw the attention on his side. Even though I can say that Raila's decision to rush to DCI could have been triggered by former President Uhuru Kenyatta. I know many people have been narrating the silence, but for me, that is the best that has contained the situation. Remember, the public, the masses, there are those who view some of these sermons or other probings on Matiang'i as political witch hunt, while there are also those who look at it as probing to know the truth, but to see the way, and those who have made it look at political witch hunt as the UDA bloggers who are members of parliament. There are those who have come out to vilify Matiang'i, saying the way Matiang'i did that, against even this one of Rigathi Gachagua. And I've always wondered this, those who single out Matiang'i as the person that was responsible for the arrest of Gachagua, or even that of Miguna, that's a bit skewed, because if Uhuru Kenyatta did not want, do you think he would just execute? Matiang'i is just a pathway, was just a pathway if there's something like that happened. So those who have always single one person and start vilifying, I think are getting it wrong. Now, I want to talk about Uhuru's reaction to this matter. Uhuru has kept quiet, and he has always wanted the discussion about revenge to remain in public. I can tell you, when he comes up and start coming out to defend, because this is his yes, And I know that behind the scene he can do backroom efforts to try to save the situation. But by deploying Raila on the front, you can see even this one, Raila was in DCI on the day the same event happened. He was at Matiang'i's residence. The purported raid, he was at Matiang'i's residence. And that has always drawn the public attention on the matter. If you check Twitter, you'll realize that Raila Odinga is trending. I think he's even trending number one ahead even Matiang'i, who was the person who was the subject matter. It's because Raila went there, there's a bit of that panic, then he was barred from getting into that compound, then that became the news. That became the news. So that has always worked to invoke the emotions of the public over the matter. Because now, people are talking about Matiang'i Salmon, but they are talking of it also in terms of why Raila was blocked from attending, from getting into that compound. And you can see the public, if you watch the other video, you can see the way he reacted, very angry, saying why that is a public office, but people can be barred from accessing it. So these are some of the things that we are really talking about. Now, I also see that when Uhuru keeps off, then it actually leaves the chance for people to guess what next, or what is he after? What next? That is the question. It's the question of what next. So the revenge question will come out, but Raila draws the public sympathy on his side. Now, the whole discussion seems to have shifted. And I want to say this. Matiang'i issue is emerging today, a day to the lapse of Raila Odinga's 14 days ultimatum. And I am persuaded to some extent that even the summons that were given yesterday for him to appear today and all that, was strategic to create a diversionary subject on the Azimio wing. What am I talking about? Now, Matiang'i agenda, Azimio has been pro-Matiang'i defense, and they would want that to become a conversation, I can tell you, to ease the tension on the cost of living question. The same thing today, I'm just trying to touch on it lightly on the report from Nyakango, who I believe is saying that she was forced to sign off the money, some 15 billion to paid to Zayo Sugar, and the other ones to be paid for what and what. And we believe there'll be that an investigation is going to be done. And that will be to create, for now, if Raila is going to call a press briefing on this issue, what are they going to talk about? Or even if they start their meetings on Friday, probably this is already a subject matter. And they like the issues of the Matiang'i's issue arouses the emotions of those leaders around William Ruto. Look at Rigiji. Those who support Rigiji, you will hear them saying that let him eat the humble pie because he mistreated so and so. So I want to tell you one thing, that the Matiang'i issue, to me, it doesn't look like really pursuing in terms of what happened or what he did or not. But it's a topic that is hawked, or rather that is brought forth to arouse the emotions of those who support William Ruto and draw the sympathy that, look here, this is the man that also mistreated us, so we are also in power. We are also trying now to settle the score. And you will see a section of Kenyans who support Kenya Kwanza are really aroused and are very interested, are very happy with the latest developments from Matiang'i's side. So this is normally something that is created because they know that already the hype is disintegrating. Now, with the threats of arresting other CSS who served the Uhuru's cabinet, Matiang'i someone could have been affected to just a scare strategy, of course, to test. Okay, if we arrest so and so, what can happen? Remember there is another process going on, another expose of a scandal that is said about some billions that were drawn and given to so and so. So that will also test, that today it's only Eugene Wamalwa who was there. They will also want to assess, in terms of those who worked with Uhuru Kenyatta, are they regrouping? Are they still together, or what's really going on? Now, will Matiang'i onslaught emerge on Kisii vote in the fullness of time? This one I can tell you in a brute on the eye. I saw there Okongo Omogeni, Kisii Senator, Anyamire Senator. I saw there Richard Onyonka, Kisii Senator. The Kisii governor was also supporting Matiang'i. And I know this is something that even the president knows. The Kenyan publics, the masses, the voters, are normally disenfranchised when it comes to political voting. Or not, let me say, I think I'm using the wrong word. There is a homeboy mentality. This is what made Hassan Joho. I've seen people talking on social media and really yapping that Matiang'i needs to be locked. If you can lock Matiang'i, whether on merit, whether it's a fair sentence or not, but in the village, do people buy a fair sentence? No. Not even the village. Do Kenyan voters buy a fair sentence? It can't start with Matiang'i and it can't end with Matiang'i. If you want to fair and you want to jail, even people around you, you must sacrifice. Get the closest of your friend, because even if you check around Kenya, you still find people, by the way. No one is clean. So when you go for Matiang'i, and everyone knows that Matiang'i and Rigathi, there was a problem when Rigathi was arrested, and so Matiang'i and William Ruto, there was a problem during Uhuru tenure. So people try to connect the dots for convenience than what you'll want. Maybe you'll want the people to connect the dots that we are fighting corruption, or rather we are genuinely pursuing this. But Kenyans will connect the political dots. The political dots will be connected fast. So on this one, I can tell you, you may have to make Matiang'i, and in the fullness of time, you pick him and work with him. And I'm getting worried on this. I don't know why. I don't know whether politicians are seeing this. If you successfully create a scene or a scenario that Matiang'i is carrying the burden of Uhuru Kenyatta, then the rest of the nation is watching. That's it. And that's why I started by saying, if you know you can't go after Uhuru Kenyatta, then believe all these things. All these things are hogwash. If you can't go after Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, all these other people are small people. And that's why people arbitrary arrest on the Azimio side. I think these other small boys that are being arrested here and there. They've been saying, go and arrest Raila. If you can't arrest Raila, leave the Nuru Okangas, the Gauchos, and the Moshja Kababas. The same breath, if you can't go for Uhuru Kenyatta, then just leave the rest. Because Kenyans will join the dots. And there is nothing as bad as people seeing that even you are leaving the other person, you are taking one person to carry the burden of the rest. And this one, you need to tread with it very carefully. We are getting a wrong precedence. And remember, you also have an election. If those who are saying that Matiang'i did wrong and so people should learn how to be in power, it's true. But remember, you who is also saying you are also in power, you're also in power. So how about if the next day you step out and you go through that? As a country, we need to think twice on this one. It's more than what catches the eye.